You're now on set. Noble Black, broker at Douglas Elliman Noble. Good to have you on.
Thanks for having me.
All right, so we were just talking about New York and some of the craziness around here. What's happening nationally? Because New York City does not reflect Cleveland.
Sure. We're our own market. Nationally, it's still a story of different markets. So what's happening in the Sun Belt is different from what's happening in the Northeast, different from what's happening in California. But all of that's affected by rates. Certainly what you're seeing in those numbers, I think, are just the rates having an effect. It's affecting the builders. They're not building as much coming to market. And then people that want to be buying, the people that can afford it, may not have all of their options depending on where they are. And the people that really want to get in may not be able to afford it with the prices and the carry cost.
So that's kind of where I want to go with this, because what has been very surprising to me, now as a homeowner, I guess I'm happy about this. I thought that when rates went up, prices would come down, because most people, non-all cash buyers, they buy on the monthly payment as much or more than they buy on the actual cost. We haven't seen prices come down at all, have we?
Yeah, very small amount. And they're still, I think, 50% up what they were pre-COVID.
How? It's the same thing we just talked about with cars, I think.
Yeah, again, it's hard when you look at the national numbers because there are different pockets, right? And there's certainly markets such as New York, such as Palm Beach. Some of these luxury markets or other just general markets in the Northeast where there's not enough supply. So that's kind of, you're looking at an average. But in a lot of these places, there's not enough supply for people to come into. The rates are high. If you've got a low mortgage, you're not going to sell that, right? So everything's kind of stuck. And that's, again, I think a matter of we need to get rates gradually lower. And it's
to get it unstuck. It's something that we talked about years ago, and a lot of people they poo-pooed it, but I said the market's going to get stuck because of exactly what you said. People have a 3% mortgage. They're not moving to a 6.5% mortgage unless it's a severe downsize or something like that where their kids are gone.
So we see some of that, but it's not enough to really move the wheel.
Are we seeing supply at homes for sale? Is that coming up at all?
I think you're going to start seeing it. It seems hopefully a certainty that we're going to start getting some rate cuts, right? It seems that some of the uncertainty is less than what it was, let's call it 6 or 8 months ago. So the tariffs hopefully are not going to be as negatively affecting things as people fear that they would. So I think you're going to start seeing more supply. But none of that's going to be, there's not going to be a dam broken and all of a sudden we have a ton of new supply.
Well, what was interesting was in April, I'm sure you remember this, when the tariff stuff hit and the stock market tanked, bond yields fell for about 2 weeks. Mortgage rates came down with it. For about 2 weeks, mortgage rates were like 5% again or something like this. And the numbers for refis and stuff just boomed.
There's huge demand.
So if we see rates go back down to 5%, whatever,
I think that's a huge difference. I think that's a huge difference. I think the issue is going to be it's going to take a while to get there. I don't think that we're going to cut, a point by the end of the year. I think it's going to be gradual, and I think that's going to get absorbed. I think we'll be moving in the right direction, but I don't think this is a place where we're going to be in a totally different location in 6 months. I think it's going to be a 12 to probably 24, 30-month story.
How is the Northeast doing overall? Everyone's like, they're dead. But guess what? Folks, I'm sorry if you're in Phoenix or Boise or L.A. and you're thinking the Northeast is doomed. We haven't been doomed yet. I'm a little surprised by it.
You're still seeing bidding wars in the suburbs. The rents are up pretty dramatically in New York City, right?
So everyone's record highs, I think.
Record highs, yeah. The discount for rentals is negative, which means people are going above ask for that. Again, the suburbs are on fire. People want to be here. Taxes and all of that aside.
I will not ask you to ever wade into politics. Do not worry. Not what I do. But I'm going to ask you, are people even asking you about the mayoral race for New York City? Is it even coming up in any conversation?
It's coming up in a lot of conversations, but it's not.
Are people saying, should I be worried? And you're not choosing a side here, but it's the idea of a rent freeze is great for people whose rent gets frozen.
Right.
But for property owners, potential property owners, it's probably a little bit of a nerve wracking.
And as a broker for luxury real estate, those are not my clients. So the ones that I'm talking to are not so excited about a rent freeze, right? You also think through the repercussions of what that means. It's kind of a negative story for.
Why would you build anything new if you can't?
Correct.
It's,
Yeah, I mean, you've got to play that out, and you see pretty quickly, okay, that's not the answer to this. There's a real problem in New York in terms of affordable housing, but the solutions that are being floated
solution
right
is
now,
more housing.
Correct. You need to cut red tape. You need to incentivize developers. There's it's very clear what to do. It's just not really.
It's weird, too. Yeah, I mean, just there's all this. New York City doesn't have a lot of room to grow that way, but it has a lot of room to grow up.
Right. But
a lot of air rights could be sold to add units.
Right. You need to upzone it and, decrease the red tape. But to answer your question, people are talking about it, but people are not running for the hills. It's not the case that if he wins, which I think he's going to, people are still going to buy. They're still going to be here. It's a topic, but it's not like the death knell for New York.